In this lecture, we are going to talk about inequalities. And we're going to talk about inequalities in the topic of solving. So first of all, what are inequalities? Inequalities are the symbols that look like this. This one means less than. This one is greater than. This symbol means less than or equal to, and this symbol is greater than or equal to. Now for example 2, we are actually going to graph the inequalities. This one is already simplified. So I'm going to put the 3 on the number line, and I'm going to go ahead and label the rest of the marks on the number line. Now this says x is less than 3. I'm going to put an open circle on 3. Now it says less than 3. So I'm going to shade all the numbers less than 3. For this next example, it says x is greater than or equal to negative 4. I'm going to put negative 4 on my number line along with all the other numbers. Now because this says greater than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle on 4. And because it's greater than, I'm going to shade all the numbers that are greater than negative 4. Example 3. We actually need to solve these inequalities and then graph them. So if you think back to when we were solving equations, if this was a positive 8, we would subtract it on both sides. The 8's would cancel. So x is less than or equal to negative 4. Now I graph it on the number line. So I'm going to put all my numbers on here again. Now it said x was less than or equal to, which means it's going to be a shaded circle. I'm going to shade everything to the left because that's less than. For the next example, we need to solve it again. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So the 2's cancel. I'm left with negative 3x is greater than 18. Now I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 3. The 3's cancel. I get x and negative 6. Now, because I divided by a negative number, my sign is actually going to flip. So I get x is less than negative 6. To graph it, I'm going to put negative 6 on my number line and fill in the rest of the marks. And it said x was less than negative 6, so that's an open circle. I'm going to shade everything to the left. For the next example, we need to solve it again. I'm going to add 6 to both sides to get the variables on one side. So I get 8x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 30. Subtract 6 on both sides. The 6's cancel. So I get 8x is greater than or equal to 24. Divide by 8, and I get that x is greater than or equal to 3. To graph it, I'm going to put my numbers on the number line. Now it says x is greater than or equal to 3, so I'm going to put a closed circle. Because it's greater than, I'm going to the right. Let's take a look at the final example. Notice the distributive property here. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. I'm going to bring down everything else. Combine like terms. So 3x minus 9x is negative 6x. bring down everything else. Now I'm going to add 9 to both sides. 9's cancel. So I get negative 6x is less than 18. Now I divide by negative 6. 6's cancel. And I get negative 3. Now remember, because I divided by a negative number, my sign flips. So I get negative 3. I'm going to fill in the rest of my numbers here. And it was less than negative 3, so I'm going to put an open circle. I'm going to go less than negative 3. Sorry about that, I actually said greater than negative 3. So I'm going to go greater than negative 3.